Welcome to Empowered Spirit Healing. Today we're continuing on with our series of reading The Golden Future by Diana Cooper. And we are up to part 2, which is the transformation, life in the new golden age. So this is the part of the book where it starts to get exciting because Diana Cooper shares with us what she has been told about what the future is going to be like. And at the end of each chapter, she gives a little visualization that we can practice and that will help, bring this beautiful future into our reality. We can help manifest it. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. Some of these things just sound really, really amazing. And I really, really hope that a lot of things, I hope most of these things come true. I do believe so much of it is possible, and already we're seeing so many advances in technology. For example, like I just discovered this amazing frequency healing app that you can just download to your phone, and you can basically create a playlist of people like your family, your friends, your pets, your home, different objects, and you can literally just send healing frequencies. You just set it up. It's called AO Scan by Solex. Absolutely incredible. And I've only been a part of it, joined up for about 2 weeks, and already I've prevented myself and my youngest daughter from getting sick, from having a cold, because I've just been playing a playlist that has all these different frequencies for colds. It's just incredible. And if you would like to learn more about this amazing app, I've got some information in my description box below. It's a subscription-based plan, and you just pay every month. So if there's 1 month that you can't afford it, just don't worry about it, and then just pay for it the next month or whatever. There's no pressure with it at all, but the owner has promised that he will not be changing the price. It's $149 a month, and he has promised that he's not going to be changing that price, even though he keeps adding more and more content to it all the time. But it's just incredible, and I just think, well, if we have something like that we can just use from our phone or our computer and our iPad, and we can send healing frequencies to people anywhere in the world, this is just the start of what's possible. Not to mention, there is so much technology that has been hidden from us, that has not been shared. I think it's Cosmic Disclosure on Gaia. I haven't watched the full series because I think there's 26 seasons or something. There's a lot, but it's got Emery Smith in it. I know he did a big part of it. David Wilcock, a few other people. And man, the stuff that Emery Smith shares is just mind-blowing. The technology that's available, the whole world would actually be healed and prosperous if this information was shared with us, but unfortunately it's not. But yeah, so I guess for somebody who doesn't know about all of that kind of stuff, when you're reading a book like The Golden Future, you're just thinking, okay, that's a nice fantasy, but that's just insane. But when you learn about the technology that is actually already available, that has already actually been in use, it's just I can see how that's going to happen now. So yeah, anyways, we'll continue on. We are up to chapter 7, which is Living in the Fifth Dimension. And I'm very, very excited to continue reading this with you all, and I hope that you are enjoying it so far. Okay, so in fifth dimensional consciousness, there is no ego, and therefore no personal aspiration or desire to be better than another. Well, that would certainly take a lot of pressure off. When we are not involved in power struggles, drive, or ambition, all the energy that has been consumed by proving ourselves is available for creativity, glowing health, and the expression of whatever brings us joy. We are happy to use that energy for the greater good of all. As the frequency everywhere rises, more people will naturally feel like this, and it will create a wonderful sense of alignment and inner peace. So, yeah, I think so much time is wasted because we are just in survival mode and we are trying to hustle and work extra jobs and find multiple sources of income because expenses are just insane and people can't afford to buy food or get petrol. So, you know, if all of that, if we weren't all in survival mode and we weren't in competition with each other, we would have so much energy and time left over to explore our creativity, and we would all be healthier because we wouldn't be so stressed. How much energy would you have available if you had never tried to prove yourself to your parents, your boss, your extended family, your neighbors, or even more important, yourself? Many of us decided that we need to work hard, be competitive, and strive to do better in order to earn a living or provide for our family. We believe we need a bigger salary to buy a more spacious house for our children. A huge car is necessary for better holidays. We can always justify driving and striving, but here is the amazing thing. So in italics, it says, when your consciousness is fifth dimensional, you naturally attract abundance. Abundance. As humanity becomes fifth dimensional, we will draw incredible abundance from the universe. This means plenty of nutritious food, technology that supports us, limitless ecological and free power, and all that we need. In the new golden age, all the things that you have been striving for will come to you naturally, if they are for your highest good. And if something isn't for your highest good, why would you want it? If you rationalize that it is important for your child's future that they attend a prestigious school or have a car, remember this. And it says in italics, if something is for your highest good, the universe will arrange itself so that it is for the highest good of everyone. And the converse is true. If it isn't for your highest good, it isn't for the highest good of anyone else. So as we move forward, we always ask to be guided to do what is right for you. It is almost inconceivable to us now that the energy of the universe can work so powerfully to support us. However, in the golden future, if you require a bigger home, your dream home will automatically and instantly be provided. If you need to travel somewhere, transport will be there, right outside your door, waiting for you. If it is right for you to have a dog, then guess what? The perfect pup will be sitting on your doorstep. Well, that would make my daughters very happy, even though we already have one gorgeous little cavoodle. They want more. To third dimensional consciousness, this seems like magic. In the fifth dimension, it is the natural result of energy flowing freely. The corollary to this is that you do not need to own anything. Why would you want personal belongings if your needs were automatically provided? Why clutter the street up with parked cars when transport arrives as soon as you require it? Why own a home if the perfect house is always available to you? Why own a kite surfer if one is waiting for you on the beach when you want to fly over the waves? Ownership is based on the belief that only money will enable you to get what you want. In the new golden age, we will all trust that our needs will be provided for. Collective fifth dimensional consciousness naturally supports this. When all your physical and emotional needs are met, your spiritual journey becomes more important than personal advancement. And you can relax into a fulfilled life. When your 12 chakras are open, there is deep satisfaction in connecting with Lady Gaia, communing with the angelic realms, downloading information from wise stellar beings, or tuning into the peace of the cosmos. And as you climb to the higher rungs of the fifth dimensional ladder, even reaching the sixth dimension or touching the seventh, this spiritual journey becomes even more illuminating. Balance. One of the ways in which the Atlanteans of the Golden Era maintained their high frequency was keeping everything in balance. They always balanced giving and receiving, for example. Nowadays, it is quite common for generous people to give and give. They think that this is earning them spiritual points. In fact, the reverse is true. For giving without reciprocation is considered to be a kind of spiritual control or one-upmanship. It is important to receive so that you allow the other person to experience the joy of giving. It doesn't have to be the same thing. You can bake a cake in exchange for gardening or offer some apples for cleaning. In the golden future, when money is obsolete, there will only be exchange or giving freely with pure love. So that's interesting because I know that the Law of One and the Cassiopeans that Brice Watson talks about a lot, talks about that when we give and we don't receive something in return, some kind of a spiritual exchange, that can lead us into kind of being a bit of a martyr, and that can get us into the 4D negative timeline. It's actually more service to self. So it is actually really spiritual to have a healthy balance of giving and receiving, which I think is, it's really important that people understand that, because I think so many people are programmed to think that they're supposed to just give and give and give all the time. And then they're tired and they're drained and become unhealthy. And also we can have a lot of resentment if we're just giving all the time, especially like mothers do this a lot. And I know that I did this a lot before. I wouldn't take time out for myself, and I wouldn't do things that made me happy because I just thought, well, I just have to be a mum. I just have to sacrifice and I just have to give to my children all the time. And your partner and just the whole family. But yeah, as you start to learn true spirituality, you start to understand that this is not the way that we're supposed to be at all. I think this was just a fun idea that the church decided to program us with. Anyway, so in italics, it says, giving freely with pure love activates the law of grace. I haven't really heard many people talk about the law of grace before, so that's interesting. Okay, so when our fifth dimensional heart centers are fully awake, we will be ready to serve one another for the highest good. And this will arise from a deep spring of love within. It will bring a great feeling of satisfaction. Harmlessness. One of the fifth dimensional qualities is harmlessness. When you are totally harmless in thought, word, and action, every person and creature feels safe with you. Consequently, nothing and no one will hurt you. Animals totally trust you and relax in your presence. As more people's heart centers open and we develop harmlessness, we will once more live in harmony with the animal kingdom. And in italics it says, humans and animals will live in amity and mutual respect. Well, I would love that. I would love to be able to pat a tiger or a lion and not have to worry about being eaten. The wonders of the universe. As our fifth dimensional chakras awaken and reveal our gifts, talents, and awesome powers, we effortlessly open up to the wonders of the universe and attune to the spiritual worlds. Fifth dimensional people, especially those who were once connected with Lemuria, have a natural love of nature, trees, and the land itself. Lemuria was the fourth golden age on the planet, and the one that preceded Atlantis. Lemurians formed a vast fifth-dimensional healing light force. They were a collective energy that worked through the universe, touching places that needed their energy. Their healing was said to be the purest and most powerful available, for it was completely without ego and sent as a collective energy. The Lemurians had a deep connection with our planet and loved nature and working with the elementals and dragons. They even drew love and light down from Source through the cosmic heart and projected it into Earth. Many Lemurians have returned now to help us all connect to nature. Indeed, it is very important for the golden future that everyone is at one with the natural world. In italics it says, just being in nature enfolds you in a sense of contentment and aliveness. You can make a two-way connection by leaving golden footprints wherever you walk. You channel higher energies down through you into the land, and at the same time, you bring love up from Lady Gaia's heart. This comes up through your Earth Star chakra, below your feet, and rises through you to your heart. There it spreads out and touches people, animals, and nature. When you take a conscious fifth-dimensional walk, your light shines very brightly. You can take the following walk in your imagination or find a place in nature and do it physically. So this is a visualization to take a fifth-dimensional walk out in nature. Close your eyes and imagine that you are outside on a beautiful sunny day. Take a few deep breaths in and out and become aware of the trees and flowers. Look at the colors and the shapes. Smell the scents of the natural world. Walk forward and notice how your feet feel each time they connect with the earth. Then imagine the crown of your head opening. See or sense golden light pouring into it and right down through you, then into your feet and the land. Know that you are leaving golden footsteps behind you. Now, as you breathe in, sense you are drawing up golden light from Lady Gaia's heart. Feel it come up through you and breathe it out of your heart. See how it is touching the world of nature. When you have finished your walk, picture the trail of golden footsteps you have left behind you. Okay, we are up to chapter 8, Economic Metamorphosis. Our attitude to money and business is undergoing a seismic shift. The new golden age will see a complete economic metamorphosis. In the third dimensional scenario, a pyramid of power results in a detachment between the dominant at the top and the impotent in the lower ranks. This has been a heart and mind disconnect that has enabled banks, economic institutions, and big businesses to act in ways that they have done for so long. In future, people will find it unbelievable that financial bodies have been allowed to lend illusory money that does not actually exist, and charge interest on it in a way that has created hardship and exacerbated the divide between rich and poor throughout the world. Absolutely, it is disgusting. Lending imaginary money has now progressed to selling imaginary property in the metaverse. As the fifth dimensional blueprint starts to activate within humanity so that abundance consciousness becomes the norm, people will no longer seek wealth in this way. Businesses that will succeed. In the old world, the universe supported intention, focus, and action, regardless of the consequences. That is no longer the case. The universal flow of energy on Earth is changing. As we move towards a higher frequency world, different criteria will apply. These are some of the jobs and businesses that will thrive and receive blessings and support of the universe. So, jobs and businesses that give soul satisfaction. Businesses founded on pure intentions. Those that serve people or nature or animals. Those that promote good health, perhaps with food or essences, and are authentically in tune with the new age. Research that contributes to the genuine welfare or progress of the world, such as nature conservation or free power. Businesses that are based on heartfelt creativity, artistic, and musical expression. Natural healing modalities and cooperatives. The economy of the new golden age. After 2032, money will cease to be relevant. There will be no money. Everything will be happily shared, exchanged, or given away. New spiritually based technology means that there will be ample for all. Anything surplus to requirements will be pooled so that anyone can freely take it. In italics it says, in the fifth dimensional consciousness, humanity will automatically attract abundance, and everyone's needs will be met in ways that we cannot currently conceive. Now, a visualization for abundance of the golden future. Relax as you picture a fifth dimensional world where there is no ego. With self-esteem and confidence, you have nothing to prove. You enjoy deep inner contentment, as do those around you. There is plenty for all. Anything you need automatically comes to you. How much are you happy to share? How does this feel? Okay, so we're on to chapter 9, which is all about education. The spiritual purpose of education is to draw out the soul gifts of a child so that their inner light is illuminated. In the golden era of Atlantis, this is exactly what happened. Priests who were trained psychics would check a child's soul history to understand what their special aptitudes were. As the child grew up, their parents would carefully nurture and develop their talents. But more than that, the child was considered an integral part of the entire community, and everyone lovingly helped to develop their abilities. Every single child was cherished. When they were quite young, children were taken to a nursery each day, where teachers specially chosen for their ability to teach children of that age their social development. Priests oversaw their spiritual growth. They were outside in nature as much as possible and learned through play and creativity until they were 7. From the age of 7, they were taught in the temples. Education was always designed to foster the right brain and to be interesting, enjoyable, and fun. Social skills and connection to nature, animals, crystals, and the spiritual worlds were given priority. The memory of these Atlantean teaching methods is encoded within us. So I just want to share that my 2 older daughters always went to mainstream school when they were in primary school. And we were very lucky because a lot of the local schools that, my girls went to a couple of different local schools, and we were lucky that they were really supportive and really good schools. But when we got to high school, it was a bit of a struggle. So I did try homeschooling for a little bit, but that was also a bit of a struggle. Some parents, I think, thrive at homeschooling. I didn't. It's just not really. I mean, I was a teacher's assistant for a while, so I'm kind of familiar with, I mean, I'm definitely not qualified to be a teacher, but I was kind of familiar with how the classroom worked and how to teach students and things like that. But yeah, I feel like you've got to have things set up the right way if you're going to be homeschooling. And unfortunately, mainstream school is just really not set up to support our children at all. So I was very fortunate that I was able to find a local Steiner school, which is basically based on the philosophies of Rudolf Steiner. And I have to say, that's probably the closest I've come across to what they're talking about here. So basically, my youngest is in Kindy 6 now. And so basically they have like 3 years of kindy. They have kindy 4, kindy 5, kindy 6. Then they go on to year 1, and they don't learn to read or write until they start in year 1, which is crazy because in mainstream school, my older daughters were in kindy, and in Perth, Australia, kindy starts at around the age of 4. It's optional to go to kindy, and then pre-primary is compulsory, and that's from 5, and then usually like 5 and 6. So it kind of varies because of birth dates and the way that they do things now. But at Steiner School, they do it based on whether the child's born from January to December. Whereas at mainstream, it's July to June or something like that. It's just confusing. But anyway, the point is, in kindy, so kids are like 3 turning 4, some of them are 4 turning 5. They are learning to write their name. They're starting to learn a lot of numbers. They're expected to learn the alphabet. There's just an incredible amount of pressure on kids. It's starting from kindy. Whereas at the Steiner School, they're not worrying about any of that. And they're basically doing a lot of play, a lot of playing in nature, a lot of painting, a lot of learning through stories. And I do feel like, I'm not saying that Steiner or Montessori as well. I'm not as familiar with Montessori as I am with Steiner. not saying that they're perfect schools, because they're not, but I do feel like that's the closest we could get to right now to this kind of schooling that the Atlanteans experienced. And I really hope that all schools will start to transition into more of this, because it just supports the child so much more. It's just incredible seeing the kids, how they turn out, and when they graduate in year 12, the kind of people that they are. It's just beautiful. Okay, so I'll continue on. The old matrix. Unfortunately, the current education systems throughout the world are not intended for the highest good of children. No, they're not. Once the experiment of masculine domination had been implemented, children were generally considered chattels. Few were educated, and those were male only. Rich boys were educated by tutors or went on to expensive private schools. Only girls of a high social status were taught anything, and then just a few limited subjects at home. For a brief period during the Renaissance, however, both girls and boys attended local schools, unless they had to earn money for their family. Often students sat on forms facing one another, and the older children taught the younger ones. This promoted harmony and respect. Then the Industrial Revolution came, and employers needed a labour force that could read simple instructions and operate machines. So the forms were turned around and children faced the teacher, who stood in front of the class. The children disconnected from one another, and this gave rise to separation and its consequences. For years, teaching has been left brain, consisting of learning by rote or absorbing and regurgitating other people's ideas. For many, it has been boring and frustrating. Yes, it has. Currently, children are massed into huge schools built to nurse the egos of politicians that have nothing to do with educating or nourishing the students. The one-size-fits-all system has shut down individuality, creativity, and new ideas. With the rising frequency, many youngsters are now too sensitive to cope with this broken system, and more mental health problems are being reported in children and teachers. The seeds of change are sprouting, with more children than ever becoming home educated. And there's just a pandemic of anxiety and depression in kids, and it's just so sad. And it's because the schooling system is just not supporting and taking care of our children at all. Lord Kuthumi, the world teacher, has been working diligently on the inner planes to bring forward a new education system suited to the children of the Golden Age that will help, encourage, and enlighten them. Education by 2032. The high-frequency children already incarnating are very sensitive and must be treated as individuals. Soon, more children will be born with the slightly elongated heads that house bigger brains. The expanded brains will be configured to understand technology in preparation for the awesome changes ahead. So in italics it says, the new children need creative expression, activity, stimulation, connection to nature, and right brain expansion. And the education systems in the new golden age will be tailored to their needs. Schools will be smaller and built locally. These community schools will give a sense of belonging to students and teachers alike. Teachers will once more be respected and valued. Teaching will be considered an honourable and important profession, and only those who are natural-born teachers will be drawn to serve in this way. Children too will be respected and treasured. These high vibration children will have come from dimensions where they were honored and valued. They will know their worth and expect to be esteemed. When they are, they will respond with grace. Education will be predominantly right brain to promote the flow of creative ideas and imagination. Specially picked and trained teachers will know exactly how to stimulate students and develop their innate gifts. Teachers will understand the influence of harmonious sound to calm, heal, create, and balance. So special music, especially angel harmonics, will be played in schools. I think that's a great idea. Future computers will create pertinent and interesting lessons for students on an individual basis. So on one hand, there will be more reliance on technology. On the other hand, children will be taught social skills and encouraged to develop kindness, empathy, and integrity. They will practice caring for and nurturing animals, as well as connecting to nature. They will learn how to grow food, tend plants, and manage their physical bodies with appropriate food, exercise, and positive thoughts to maintain optimal health. Fun and enjoyment will be inherent in education. Sports, especially team games to promote working together and individual excellence, will be supported. Artistic and creative activities of all kinds will be nurtured, especially group activities. Singing and music will be available for everyone and encouraged. Reflecting the high frequency consciousness of the children, all music will be harmonious and all students will have the opportunity to learn an instrument if they wish to. Because every child will be treated as an individual soul, there will be no need for examinations, and these will not be part of the new paradigm. However, those who wish to test themselves in this way can do so. I think that would definitely take a lot of stress off students because I, for one, hate being tested. Children will learn to cleanse energy, work with crystals, and develop their psychic skills and gifts. When they are older, further development of their powers, including healing and manifestation, will be wisely managed. They will naturally connect to the elementals in nature as well as the angelic realms. I just think that would be so amazing if all of our kids learn all of that. Pupils will be taught the spiritual laws, especially the laws of gratitude, grace, and oneness, to keep their frequencies high. Giving thanks will be an integral part of life in the fifth dimension. The crystalline brain structure. In the new golden age, humanity will gradually shift from a carbon to a crystalline base. Crystalline does not infer hardness like a crystal. Rather, people will have the qualities of a crystal. Children will be born with higher frequency bodies and crystalline brain structures, in which the atoms are arranged according to sacred geometry. The crystalline brain structures will act like neurons, but with advanced connections. They will be sophisticated computers, allowing for massive storage of memory and information, involved calculations, extraordinary creativity, and incredible abilities. So in italics it says, the startling gifts of the new children born with their 12 strands of DNA connected and active, and a crystalline brain structure will be recognized and valued. So by 2050, both adults and children will be receiving direct downloads of technological knowledge spiritual information, and wisdom from the stars. And this will be honored and respected. The crystalline brain will enable everyone to see through the dimensions so that we can all connect to the elements, the elementals who look after our natural world, as well as to spirits and angelic beings. So, a visualization to be a child of the golden future. Imagine you are a child of the golden future, with the confidence to do whatever feels right for your soul satisfaction. You have a perfect, healthy body. All kinds of sport and music are available to you if you want to avail yourself of them. You have an incredible brain and can explore whatever subjects interest you. Your lessons are specifically tailored to you, and they are fascinating and illuminating. Every day it is a joy and delight to go to school. How does this feel? I think that would just be so incredible for kids. Okay, so now we're going to read chapter 10, Living in the Golden Communities. We currently cannot have any concept of the peace, joy, and soul satisfaction awaiting us in the fifth dimensional communities of our golden future. It will be unbelievably different from our current way of living. Communities will be much smaller and more contained. People will be totally free to move around and travel anywhere in the world, and will live exactly where they feel that they belong. This will happen automatically as the Earth Star chakras of humanity become anchored and activated, drawing everyone magnetically to their divine place of destiny. So if you're not familiar with the Earth Star chakra, it is just below our feet. I can't remember exactly. I think it might be about 8 to 11 inches or something below our feet in our energy field. And that basically is our connection to Mother Earth, or Mother Gaia, as I like to call her, our Akashic records, and basically just helps us to stay grounded and connected. It's not usually covered when people talk about the 7 main chakras of the body, but hopefully people will start to learn more about the other chakras. I mean, we've got hundreds of chakras in our bodies, but people are starting to talk a lot more about the 12 different chakras. And the more we can activate them, I think we'll be able to reach higher levels of awareness. And so apparently, once that's activated, it already is activated, but as it becomes more anchored and activated, she's saying it would naturally draw us to where we feel we're supposed to be in the world. So, there won't be any of this nonsense of having visas and passports and having to apply to go live in a country. All of that will be gone. So then people, if you want to live wherever you want to in the world, you're going to feel drawn to go there, and you can just go there freely without having to apply to the government to see if you're allowed to, which is just ridiculous anyway. So in italics, it says, people will find themselves with their soul families and friends. So I think we're all just going to be naturally drawn to move to communities where there are people that are vibrating at the same frequency as us, which is just going to be lovely, because, I think part of the reason why I wanted to start my YouTube channel and to start the Esoteric Academy with Brice was because I wanted to connect with more like-minded people. I mean, I'm very lucky. I've got a beautiful family. I've got the most beautiful friends that I truly appreciate and enjoy spending time with. But not everyone is interested in the same topics that I'm interested in. So when Brice and I became friends, I was just like, oh my God, yay, I've got someone to talk to about all this conspiracy stuff and spiritual stuff. And now at the Esoteric Academy, we've got like over 100 members, which is just incredible. And there's just so many beautiful souls. And I've been able to chat to some of them in our live calls. And yeah, it's just so lovely. They're just such beautiful people. And, you know, a lot of them are in America and I'm in Australia. And, you know, we've got some on the other side of Australia, some beautiful members over there. And we've got some beautiful members in other countries, in Canada and things like that as well. So, you know, one day when it's not so hard to travel, I would love to just meet these beautiful people in person. It would just be so, so lovely. And I love the idea that people are going to naturally be drawn to just live in communities of people that they resonate with. Because why shouldn't we? Otherwise, we just feel so isolated in our everyday life. And I think that's why a lot of people can feel lonely and depressed. It's not because there's not people around. There are plenty of people around. But sometimes we just don't feel like there's anybody around that gets us. And then that can feel really lonely and that can be a real struggle. That's why, you know, the internet is a huge blessing in so many ways because it has enabled people to connect with like-minded people. Okay, so in the fifth dimensional abundance consciousness, there will be no need to earn a living. Your living will be divinely provided. So people will spend their relaxed, leisurely days doing what gives them soul satisfaction. In the old matrix, this may seem boring, but in the new world, the joy of personal expression and service will bring unimaginable harmony, happiness, and contentment. It says in italics, in the higher consciousness, everyone is totally open, honest, and welcoming. People feel totally safe at all times. There are no possessions. Why own something when your heart's desire comes to you automatically? Everything is freely available. All is shared. So we are up to leisure. In the last 40 years, the spiritual hierarchy has made more and more technology available. The purpose of this was to give us extra free time to relax and enjoy nature, leisure pursuits, and our families. At last, we did not accept this. We used it to work harder in an effort to make more money and create more things. This will change now in the new golden age. We've no need to work for survival, and with the change in consciousness, citizens will want to spend their leisure hours connecting to nature, expressing themselves creatively, and using their physical bodies. Walking, climbing, cycling, exploring, and all pursuits that allow them to be outside in the countryside will become increasingly popular. The golden future is a sociable, fun time. Creativity of all kinds will be enjoyed. Groups will gather to paint, put on plays, make models or pottery, or express themselves in practical ways. Both those we understand now and those that are not available to us yet. In italics, it says, in the fifth dimensional consciousness of the golden future, everyone will feel confident and welcome to participate in any group. Creative expressions of all kinds will be encouraged and developed in the right way for each soul. Sport. Everyone will become taller, thinner, and more energetic as we move more into the golden future. Sporting activities of all kinds will be popular, in particular group games. Bats, balls, rackets, and clubs will be freely available for anyone to use in sports halls or out in the open. People will be drawn to water sports where the weather permits, for there will be a general understanding of the spiritual qualities and benefits of that medium. Boats of all sorts, from canoes, kayaks, and windsurfers to ecologically powered silent hovercraft, will be freely provided, laid out for anyone to use. That'd be pretty cool. In fully established fifth-dimensional consciousness, whatever you need automatically comes to you. So if you need someone to teach you to sail, that person will arrive. If you need a companion to sail with you, someone on that wavelength will be there. While this is almost incomprehensible in our current way of understanding, that is the energy we are moving into. Music. Music will be increasingly enjoyed, especially as people comprehend the power and importance of the vibration of sound, because everyone will be in balance and accord internally. All music will reflect this and be harmonious. Music will be sung and played for relaxation, enjoyment, and mood changing. Certain combinations of notes will facilitate manifestation as well as healing. That's very interesting because there are quite a few theories out there that the pyramids were built with sound. So yeah, that's very interesting. Musical instruments, both those we have now and new ones to reflect the higher octaves of the music of the spheres, will be available for anyone who wishes to play them. People will enjoy forming groups to play their instruments together or gather spontaneously to sing or chant while crowds cluster around to listen. So it says in italics, everyone will feel welcome to participate at any time and will have the confidence to do so. In the higher frequencies, there is regard and care for all things, so equipment is naturally treated with respect. If someone needs to work with a particular instrument or other item, that too is honoured, and it will be returned to the collective pool when it is no longer needed. Gardening. Gardening will be a popular pastime, and many will enjoy the connection with the earth and nature, as well as the peace that a garden provides. Gardening offers an opportunity for people to communicate with the elementals, especially the fairies and elves. The great illumined Master Paul the Venetian is already influencing gardeners to produce many new colours in flowers. So as our consciousness expands, we will be introduced to a wider range of colour frequencies. This will have a subtle effect on us in the same way that music does. Art. Art has been used throughout the centuries as a way of bringing in rays of high frequency light. The Renaissance came about because many creative masters agreed to incarnate at the same time with the specific purpose of waking up souls through art. Centuries later, painters like Van Gogh brought in the Christ light through colour. In the golden future, the joy of artistic expression will be experienced by the masses. New hues will allow artistically inclined souls to channel and express the higher rays. Artists will often be seen in groups, painting companionably together. Creative people will express their talents in a number of different ways, some of which we have not envisaged. And it says in italics, artistic or creative endeavours will all radiate the intention and channeled energy of their producers, and when completed, they will be kept or given away to anyone who needs that energy or who loves that artwork. Celebrations. One of the ways the Atlanteans kept the frequency high in the golden era was by enjoying themselves. Everything was celebrated with gatherings, births, birthdays, happy occasions, visitors from another region, or simply the impulse to do so. Anything and everything was fated, and this was a way of giving thanks. Celebrations cement communities. A visualization to live in a golden community. Take a few moments to relax and close your eyes. Picture yourself in a lovely park with a lake. There are groups of people everywhere enjoying themselves. Some are playing music, others are singing. Athletic ones are participating in sports of all kinds. There are groups rambling, climbing, sailing, and swimming. Others are painting, sketching, throwing pots, sewing, and making things. You have the feeling of belonging and the confidence to join any of them. Whichever group you join, you know that you are welcome. In your inner world, join a group that interests you. Make new friends and try new things. Bring the feeling of living in this community consciousness back with you. And that is the end of chapter 10. I'm going to leave chapter 11 till our next episode, which is about family life and relationships. I really hope you're enjoying this book so far. I think it's got some really beautiful things to look forward to. And hopefully we can all work together to help bring them into reality. And yeah, I've got some meditations on my channel if that interests you at all, to help get yourself into a higher frequency. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.